Your name matters more than even what you have in your bank balance. It really does. You cannot just take a business that you have in the West and bring it to Ghana. But for some reason, when we come to Ghana, we tend to put our guard down. The person who's come from the West doesn't see it like that. They're like, well, you're from the same place as me, like you should know better. It doesn't always work like that. If you have a business deal that goes wrong, there's really no comeback. Don't go around talking about people anyhow, saying whatever you want. Just your mouth is just loose everywhere. You've said it, everybody's heard you say it. Not everybody that comes and sets up a business here is 100% qualified, right, to be in that business space yet. Hey guys, welcome back. All right. Today's video, I want to talk about something a little bit sensitive. Now, this video is not aimed at anyone. Before anyone goes, I just have to put this disclaimer. This is not aimed at anybody in particular, okay? Right, so what I want to talk about is, you know, sometimes when you come to Ghana, right, there are a lot of people that have started certain business or gone into certain industries. What I want you to understand is that yes, we come here and we start businesses. Some of those businesses that we start, we don't necessarily have all the know-how, right? We're still figuring out Ghana. And Ghana is a huge part of the business. And what I mean by that is culture and how things are done can affect how a business runs, okay? So it's not going to, I've said it before in a video, right? You cannot just take a business that you have in the West and bring it to Ghana and say, okay, well, I know everything about this business. No, no, no. There are going to be some other craveds to it because this is Ghana. We're in a completely different culture. Things don't run how they do in the West. Now, you have to understand that a lot of people, when they start businesses here, they start with very, very good intentions. I'm not saying they start with bad intentions, but the real deal is that when we start some of these businesses, we're still figuring things out ourselves. We're still trying to calculate, okay, how can this work? How, you know, like we're still trying to figure out the nitty-gritty things. And sometimes you won't figure those things out until you've gone through the process a few times. So you have to take that into consideration when you are coming into Ghana to do business with particular people, right? Either you're going to have to give the person grace, or you're going to have to get somebody who's been here for so many years and has got proven concepts that this thing works, all right? So another thing I have to say is that you also have to keep your street smarts about you, okay? You cannot just, because I'm in Ghana, everybody is the same as me. Everybody has the same goal as me. Everybody thinks like me. Everybody, you know, like it doesn't work like that. If you were still in the West, you know, there are certain people you would never be friends with. Let's just be honest, right? Let's be honest. There are certain people you would never be friends with because of one reason or another, right? You don't align. You don't really like some of the values that this person holds. You know, it's just part of life. It doesn't mean that that person's necessarily a bad person, but there are certain people that you know that you'd be a bit more hesitant of before you were friends with them, let alone doing business with them. Like you just wouldn't. But for some reason, when we come to Ghana, we tend to put our guard down, right? Because we think the person's on a similar mission to us. And so we don't do perhaps the checks that we're supposed to do. We just go in willy-nilly. Again, I have to say, this video is not about anybody, right? I try not to get into people's business because, hey, you know, and so a lot of the time we don't know the full ins and outs of something. So I try my best to stay out of drama as much as possible. But it does happen. Sometimes in Ghana, drama does happen. It does happen because of misunderstanding. And there is definitely misunderstanding when it comes to people coming from the West and coming here and expecting things to run a certain way, and they don't. And the reason they don't is because they're not familiar with the culture yet. So the person who is in Ghana, who has established a business, perhaps is, you know, doing everything that they're supposed to do. But this business is not working well because of other constraints, because it is the Ghanaian culture. And so therefore it makes doing this business harder. Now, the person who's come from the West doesn't see it like that. They're like, well, you're from the same place as me, like you should know better. It doesn't always work like that. It just doesn't calculate that way. And as I said before, sometimes the person who has come to Ghana to do that thing may not be trustworthy. They just might not be a trustworthy person, or they just do business half-heartedly. They may have adapted their attitude where, well, as long as I'm a little bit better than everybody else, this is what I'm offering you. And sometimes that's what we'll take, because it's like, okay, well, better the devil I know type thing. And so we go for this thing, right? We go for this business or this partnership or whatever it is. And that's not how it should work. In Ghana, I would say, so Ghana is high risk, high rewards when it comes to certain things. So you have to be careful about where you're putting your money, the things you go into, because really there's no comeback on certain things, right? If you have a business deal that goes wrong, there's really no comeback. Like what are you going to do about it? It's happened. Okay, you can take the thing to court. You're going to sit in court for a long time, because court doesn't work the way it does in the West, okay? You ain't going to be like in 3 months, okay, you got a hearing date. It's not going, you're talking like maybe 3 years. You know what I mean? And you could be going back and forth, back and forth. The person could be tossing you because, they know how to play the system. And you'll just be in court for years, just draining your resources. If you don't have a very good lawyer as well, they will also drain your resources. It can happen. And this is not to scare you from coming to do business. I just want your eyes to be wide open as to what it's going to be like, all right? So when you walk into some of these businesses and you think, okay, well, it's a diasporan person, so, everything's going to be fine. Like, I know that, the person understands where I'm coming from. Yes, but it doesn't quite go like that all the time. And like I said, you have to keep your street smarts about you. There are some people that I've come into contact with, I know, like, I will never do business with, right? There's some people that I've had to just cut off, and that's just like, no. Like, this is not going to work. That's part of the process of being here. Ghana is very, very small, and it's very tight-knit, right? And one thing I'll say is your reputation here matters so much. It really does. Your reputation really does carry you here. And so when you're in that circle, right, where people know each other, it doesn't take long for people's names to start coming up. Okay, and they're the people you need to be careful. That's why I'm saying that it's very important that you come and you network, you get an understanding of things. Like, you cannot stay in a bubble and expect to make it here. Like, Ghana is definitely not individualistic. You need people around you, whether they're going to be your friends or not. And for the most part, I would say sometimes friendship businesses do work, but for the most part, they can be difficult. They can be challenges. They come with their challenges. So depending on you, if you're a person that, you're very patient and you can handle that, then cool, go for it. But, check your stuff, check things well. Like, it's like you have to have another layer coming here to do business. You've got to have another layer. You've got to understand this person's character. So before you even go into a business with someone, right, check their character. Like, integrity is a big thing here. Like, you need people who are going to be integrous, because sometimes there is no proper comeback, right? So I watched this video from Rush, right, where he did a video recently. You guys should go check it out, where he talked about, his business in, trying to open Arcadian City. And he'd sold a lot of plots to people, and, it was a partnership, and the partnership just didn't go the way that it was supposed to go. Now, he didn't go into details as to why the partnership didn't go well. But the only thing that I heard in that video, right, the one thing that jumped out to me in that video was Rush's integrity. Because Rush made sure he followed up with all his clients and said to them, look, this is what's happened, X, Y, Z, and this is what I'm going to do for you. He made sure they were taken care of, because he wants to keep his name intact, because he knows that your name matters more than even what you have in your bank balance. It really does. And that's integrity. Like, when I hear things like that, I'm like, if Rush came to me, I mean, Rush is cool anyway. Me and Rush are cool like that, right? If Rush came to me and said, look, right, I want to go into business with you for this, I'd be like, okay, let's do this, because I know already that he's a person of integrity. There's not everybody here that you think, because they're from the diaspora, they're going to be integrous. No, you really have to sit down and let someone speak. You know that saying where it's like, if you really want to know someone's heart, just meet up with them and just let them talk. Let them do a lot of talking and get to know what their character is like. Listen to how they talk about other people. Listen to how they talk about other businesses. Then you get a better sense for the kind of character the person has. Because whatever they've said about that person could easily be you. You can easily replace it with your name. So be careful. You have to look at people who are short-tempered, who can't seem to separate business from personal feelings, because there are people like that, right? They take something so personally that it becomes a whole thing. You can't, not that you can't do business with these people, but you're going to be always on eggshells with this person. Is that the kind of business relationship that you want, where to work with a person that cannot separate business from their personal feelings, whatever happened to them the night before? You don't want that. You want someone who understands the goal and you're on a similar mission together. So you have to have your wits very, very much intact here, right? You have to understand that when you're doing business here, you're not just doing business with a business, you're doing it with a person, right? Or a group of people. And so that's why the potential for diasporan businesses here is huge. But you've got to get the calculation right first. You've got to make sure the person you're going in with has good reputation. If you go into business with someone, right, and they can be, this is how Ghana is, right? They could be completely reformed. Maybe they've had some bad experiences in the past, right? They can be completely reformed and can have every good intention for this business, every single one. Like, hand on heart, if you could look into their heart and into their brain, you'd say that this person is trying to do the best that they can do for this business to work. But if they have a reputation behind them of things that they've done that has put people off, just you being in association with that person, right, puts you already at a disadvantage, because people think birds of a feather flock together. And that works everywhere. That works even in the West, right? Birds of a feather flock together. That's how people see things, right? So you have to be very careful about your circle of people, the relationships that you build. You have to be very careful. You have to be careful what you say about people. Like, don't go around talking about people anyhow, saying whatever you want. Just your mouth is just loose everywhere. You've said it. Everybody's heard you say it. Like, you can't be that person if you want to be taken seriously. You have to keep yourself intact. You have to keep your integrity intact. You have to be a person of good standing. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to zip it and not say anything. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you're going to speak about someone or speak about someone's business, right, make sure you speak about it properly, okay? Give the facts properly. I'm a great believer in, you know what, whatever I've said, I have to be able to say it in front of the person, right? Okay, this is what it is. If the person finds out, yeah, I said this, and then be able to defend or back up what I said, because otherwise you're in some, like, you don't want to be seen as shady. Do you see what I'm saying? So whatever you said, be prepared to say it to the person. Like, if you said something about someone's business, have a validation as to why you said it. Don't just go around spreading rumors about someone's business without any basis. Because one thing about the society today is that we say things and we have to prove, the person who you said it about has to prove themselves innocent of this thing. Meanwhile, there's no basis for why it was said. It was just said because someone's feeling some type of way. You didn't dash them something in the business, and so therefore now they're upset that you didn't dash them something. Now they're going to tarnish your business. Like, you have to be aware of these things, and because Ghana is so small, these rumors can spread, right? Things spread very quickly, and if you're not careful, you're going to be always in constant combat with this person, with this business, with this, with that, with this, with that. Like, you have to keep yourself clean. That's what's going to carry you. There are certain doors that have been able to open up for me because people know my character. I've been on YouTube for so long. I haven't changed in that my integrity has not changed throughout that time. I'm still who I was. I've developed and I've grown into this better person. I'm wiser, but my integrity has remained the same. I never wish to do someone bad because I have no reason to do anyone bad, and it's not in my character to deliberately go out and do something bad to someone. It's just not me. What you saw 8-9 years ago on YouTube is still the same as it is now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I carried the character of, if someone was to say something about me, I hope that you would question a little bit about, that doesn't sound like the Dela that I know. Like, that's not how I know her to be. So there'll be a little bit of a, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you have to keep yourself. If you're known for being short fused, if you're known for being grumpy, if you're known for just not being professional, that's what will follow you. Ghana, everything follows you, and people will not want to do business with you. But anyway, I'm digressing from my point a little bit here. My point is, don't just jump into business with people that you really don't understand their character yet. Take your time to really understand who this person is before you jump into it. Suss them out. Just take a little bit of time to just listen to them talk. Just listen to them talk and just see how they run their business. See how they treat people within their business. See what their patience level is like, because all these things are going to affect you at some point within your relationship with that person. So yes, we want diaspora businesses to grow, and we want them to do really, really, really well. But they have to be done the right way, you see. You have to, it's almost like if you can get character references, right, from other people that know them. Like, you need to talk to people who actually really know them and who will speak with a fair balance. So, for example, if I know Rush, right? And someone comes and says something to me about Rush, I'm gonna be like, that doesn't sound like the Rush that I know. I'll probably go and say to Rush, listen, this person said this. What are you saying? Like, I need to understand what it is. Like, give me more context about what this thing is, and then I'll get a better understanding. I'm not going to just pass on the rumor to the next person because of this, that, and the other. I'm not going to do that because it doesn't make sense. Because you're then, like I said, your character, everything is in Ghana is everything to you. What you have, that's your biggest currency, is your name, your brand that you carry. So once that is tarnished, that's pretty much it for you. Things then become harder. They become harder. So you have to keep your personality, your character intact. Is very, very important, And so spend time and understand how the person does business. There are certain things, like there's people that I've come into, like Derek from Connected Minds. That guy, he's very, very, very integrous when it comes to something. He's building a great community, by the way, guys. His business is very much, if you've ever seen any of his podcasts, it's very much about helping people to grow their businesses, and he has a great community around him. If you haven't checked out Connected Mind, I've been on that show before, that podcast. It's amazing, really great. And I've established a really good friendship with Derek because we have taken the time to suss each other out, if I can put it like that, right? Like, I know if I do a business or anything with Derek, I know it's going to be this way because I know his character. I know what he's like. I've sat in his house before. Like, I know the kind of character he is. I know what I'm going to be walking into. Yes, we have a friendship, but I know business, this is what it's going to be. And I have to separate business from friendship if I was to go into any type of business with him. That's how it is. And I love that because I don't have to second guess anything, right? If I do something, he's very fast to say, I don't like this, or like, we can bounce ideas off each other. We definitely do that. We bounce ideas off each other because you have to be able to grow with certain people, right? You have to be able to have a very tight-knit community of people who are business focused. And then if you want to then do a business together, you know what this person is like, you can do that. You see, Rush as well. Like, there are people that I can name that I would jump into business with because I know their character. I know how they are. I've listened to how they've talked. I've talked about their business. I've listened to how they've talked about other people. And it makes sense to me. They don't just say things just because they had this feeling, and they don't do that. They're very structured about what they do. Some of these people, they may not have it all together. They may not have a fantastic business that can say, okay, look at this, but I know their character. And that is great currency for me. Like, I know that, okay, if I work with this person, it's going to be X, Y, Z. So you can't come here, especially when you don't know the person, jump into business just like that without having vetted. It's not just about the business plan that the person comes with. It's about the person's character. I've heard stories of people who have gone into business with others and it has just fallen apart. I mean, going into business with people is hard anyway. But if you have a person who's not integrous, it becomes worse. And Ghana, like I said, Ghana, everything is magnified. So have your wits about you. Just be careful. Not everybody that comes and sets up a business here is 100% qualified right, to be in that business space yet. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, but they are still growing, right? Sometimes you need proof of concept first before, or you need to make sure that whatever it is very tight. If you have a contract, whatever it is, your agreement is very tight so that there can be no mess ups. I would say that even doing business here, you have to be even more on your guard than you do in the West, because you want the business to work well. You want to make sure that you have all your bases covered. Like there's no room for stupid stuff. You know, things are going to pop out, you are going to have disagreements, perhaps things you don't necessarily see eye to eye on, but you have to have your wits about you here. And like I said, Ghana is very, very small community. Once you get a bad reputation, believe me, it goes around. We hear about it. Some of us may not comment on it. We hear about it. We know people that we should stay clear of. And we know people that if this person gives me an opportunity, I should probably go into business with them because they would be great. Certain people know what they're doing. They have business sense. Now, if you have a business in the West and you bring it here, you definitely have an upper hand because you have knowledge of how that business runs. But you just maybe need someone who's on the ground here and how you can use their expertise. So maybe they may not have the knowledge of that business, but they have knowledge of Ghana. And so therefore they are going to be of value to you. Those are partnerships that you should be building. You get an integrous person here, you get someone who has a great business sense or has a business already and they want to bring it here. That's a great partnership. So don't make partnerships just based on the facts that I think this person is nice. I think this person is, no, look at the person's character. Look at really look at what they are and build those partnerships. The best way for us to grow in the diaspora here, and I believe that we can be of great use to each other and really be the beginning of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The beginning of Black businesses that collaborate and really do powerful things here. I believe that it can be strong within the diaspora. I really, really do, because we do come with a similar mindset, right? We're trying to break away from some things, right? And so we do align to an extent, okay? And so the opportunity is here for us to do better, right? And so we should take advantage of that. And the only way to really do that is to come together and to collaborate, build businesses together. But I'm just letting you know in this video that in doing that, you still have to have your wits about you to make sure you don't go into the wrong partnerships. Now, having said all of that, I have been thinking about doing this for a while, a very long time actually. And I am opening up a database for those that have businesses within the diaspora, no matter what it is. If it is you're in the food and restaurant business, you're into real estate, you're into farming, you're into import export, you're into entertainment, any type of business that you're into here, I'm creating a database for diasporans who would like to see what else is out there. Kind of like a directory, if you know what yellow pages are, right? So that we can see each other. Because sometimes we don't know who else is out there, right? We don't know, okay, this business exists. I would love to try this business. Let's make our businesses strong that way, okay? Maybe I don't know that this person owns a restaurant. I've been looking for that type of restaurant. I don't even know that it exists, because unless someone tells you word of mouth, you really don't know that these places exist. So let's support each other, right? Let's get our ratings up. Let's get our businesses seen. And the only way to do that is with some type of directory where we can clearly see each other. So I'm going to put the link for you to be able to sign up to that directory into my description box. I'll maybe even pin it, right? So that you can head over and sign. It's free to sign up. It's not going to cost you anything. So you can go list your business on there. And let's create a great directory of businesses that we are doing here so that we can support one another and, just support each other's businesses, and let's go from there. So I think that's where I'm going to end the video right there. If you have any questions, of course, do put them into the comment section. I just feel like we have such great potential here in the diaspora to do amazing things. in Ghana and just make Ghana great, like really make it a force to be reckoned with. I really believe that we can do that if we get things done the right way. So this is the start. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know about any business ideas that you've had that you'd like to try out, and let's see what we can do. All right, guys, that's the end. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nutifafa.